Welcome to Likely Inspired Podcast. It's your boy Hugo Finesse.
It's your boy Coda Prodigy.
And we're here bringing you another inspiring episode. A lot of knowledgeable things that you people should be able to take in and apply to your day-to-day. Real estate is a big thing, and we need to get into that market.
It's an everyday thing.
Investments, buying, things like that. So we have a couple of people here that's going to give us some great insight. I've been watching these people for a while, and they really do their numbers. They really care for their clients, and they work hard. So I like them to introduce themselves.
I'm Melissa Dreyfuss from Realty Connect USA.
I'm Nelson Duartes from Realty Connect USA.
I appreciate you coming on. That's a big thing, you know.
I saw your thing and I loved it. I saw the girls. I think they had the trucking business.
Trucking business, yes.
That, yeah.
They flew up here from Atlanta, Georgia for us.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Williams, because I've been feeding off that all week. So
it's funny that
we was just watching that before you came.
Just on the screen.
We was just watching that before you came. You guys from Long Island, or you guys from?
Yeah, so I grew up in Central Islip. Humble story. My mom's from the South Bronx. She moved to Central Islip because back then they had a lot of steering. My mom's Puerto Rican. If you're a minority, they want you with other minorities. They don't let you see other towns. So it's a big reason why I got into real estate, to break those kind of barriers.
Okay. And yourself?
Oh, it's pretty similar. My mother came from Salvador,
Okay.
as well as my father. He's from Honduras.
Nice.
We came here to Brentwood, and yeah, we just born and raised in Brentwood.
Nice. I'm from Huntington. You know, I'm born and raised in Huntington, bounced all over Long Island. But like you said, they generally always kept the minorities together. So
Exactly, and I'm from Wyandanch, so same old thing.
Yeah, it was a big thing back then. We don't have what we do today, where you have people checking on you to make sure things are being done fairly, you know, so you have to be the voice for your client. And I do work with many different clients. I have a very diverse clientele: Black, Spanish, Muslim, you know, white people, everybody. You know, you have to be the voice for them.
And the diversity is what really made you want to get into?
It was a very big reason. My accountant, his friend owned a brokerage, said, "You have a very big network. Why don't you go get your license and work for my friend?" So I said, you know what, I'll go do that. And, you know, I noticed that some people didn't want to work with a lot of clients if they didn't have a lot of money. They would just throw them to the side, like, oh, you don't have, 20% down. I'm not interested. And I would take all those clients, the ones that nobody wanted, that didn't have a lot of money.
And that's why you're where you are today.
Exactly.
How long have you been a realtor?
Probably like 10 years now.
Nice. What about you? What made you get into real
So
estate?
growing up in Brentwood, we always rented from place to place to place, and especially we had dogs. So
Yeah, it's always hard to get a place when you have
tell me
pets.
about it. So eventually we had to leave. We were like getting evicted in a sense because they were selling the home. Ended up in the trailer park, and after that we had to leave there too. So we gathered as a family. We ended up saving enough money and bought our first home. And I just remember the process of going through it, and it was like so much happiness in that process. I wanted to actually help other people do the same.
No matter how many homes, we sell, we're just as excited as the first one.
Nice.
Like, we're happy when their offer gets accepted. We're happy when they do an inspection.
Gotcha.
We feel the same thing that they feel. Like, it's the first day of their rest of their life,
Exactly.
And we know they're doing a huge investment. A lot of them don't think about their future and how they're going to cash out. My mom bought her house for $20,000, and she still got ripped off back in, I think, 82. She was ripped off back then. She went to sell it, and it was a very small house, probably the smallest house in the world, for about almost $300,000 in 2004,
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that was a big jump from what she paid for
Yeah,
to
of
what,
course.
Did you help her sell it?
I wasn't an agent at that
No.
point. I wish I was. I probably would have got her even more money.
I see you guys came in together. Do you guys work as a team with clients, or do you guys individually work with them? How does y'all process working?
So I have my own team. I'm the team leader. He's on my team. And he also speaks Spanish, which is great. I only understand it, so it's...
Oh, you're like me.
it's a big hindrance.
Right.
And I also have, my mom also works for me now, and she also is bilingual.
Okay.
So it's pretty important.
So you're the boss, and
Yeah.
that's nice. Women
Well,
power.
we all work together.
So-
You know, we had to clean out a house. I was taking out chairs with him too, you know?
So when
I
it's
have no
time to
problem.
get into buying a home or selling a home, they can expect to work with your whole team at some point.
It depends what needs to be done. Like if they want to, you know, we have something called the lead system, and you know I'll divide it up between him and you know my mom Gloria, or sometimes people will call me personally and I'll take care of it. If it's an investor, I specialize in that, so I'll usually take that. I have a lot of experience in investment properties because there's a lot involved in it, and you have to be very careful because if you burn them one time, that gets around. But if you make the money once, that also gets around.
I was just getting ready. My next question was going into what is the area in real estate that you specialize in? Like, so is it like finding rental apartments for people, selling, buying, or investments? Like, what is your main expertise?
So I don't do rentals. I don't want to say that I just specialize in investment properties because I actually do a lot of first-time home buyers because I truly love that. There's nothing more exciting than seeing a family buy a house. Like, you know, it's their first time. They've come together and they got all their money and they're planning out their living room, the holidays. A lot of them are actually on my Facebook. I think you've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, and they post their pictures and you know, they'll text me, hey, I just did my floors. I mean, one of them, I sold him a co-op a few years ago, and I still talk to him to this day, you know?
Wonderful. So instead of just a client and client relationship, you build like a family rapport.
They're like family at this point. They're probably more family than some of my own family.
You know, it's always friends and stuff and people that you meet that's like that.
On average, how many homes do you sell a year?
I would say a few dozen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Which regions as your major areas, like your heavy hitters? What would you
So
say?
the thing is, I'm very spread out. I do Suffolk, Nassau, Queens. There's no specific place. I mean, I'll sell a place in Belrose, and then I'll be in Shirley, you know, Ronkonkoma, and then I'll be in Wyandanch. It really doesn't matter because I will go anywhere. It doesn't. I don't care at all. I'll go anywhere.
Don't discriminate.
Okay, so there's not really like a specific area.
No, I
where
don't. You know,
see-
a lot of them focus on one town. They're like, you know, I just do Patchogue. I'm like, wherever you want me is where I'm gonna go.
Exactly.
What is the cheapest county to, like the less expensive county to live in?
Suffolk County, hands down, is definitely the most affordable county you can live in. And if we're going with towns, because I've sold a few over there, Mastic Beach.
I knew you was gonna
You
say
know, you could get a good deal. Mastic Beach, a lot of people don't realize that in a few years, Mastic Beach is going to be much better than you
Easy
could
to
ever
live in this
realize.
5-10 years.
I used to live out that way, and when
You
I
better go back
when
now.
I lived out there, it was like tons of woods. The Nike outlet was still in Bellport before the BJ's and things like that. So it was like no real growth there. Like it had plenty of potential, but they weren't doing anything. Now they're building that super Walmart off of William Floyd
Amazing.
and all of these different things, and then they got the condominium community next door to it. So it's just like I look at it now and I tell him like, if you want to get a house, that's where
This
you're
is
gonna
the time to do it. I've sold to an influencer. Her and her boyfriend bought a house, and you know, and she has a couple 100,000 fans, and she's always by the water, and she loves it. I sold to a mechanic over there, a nurse. You know, they like it.
No, it's nothing wrong with it. You just have to like, I'm from Huntington, which is here.
Right.
So being all the way out here, which is the borderline of Nassau County, everything I do is here. Doctors, kids, you know, family,
Understand.
everything. So if you don't have a reliable transportation, that's when it's hard. So those years when I lived out there, I was a young man, like I would say from 19 to 25. So I was still struggling between leaving school, my first child, car problems, different things like that. So it's rough, you know. How do you guys feel about the market today?
The market's good. The market's good. The interest rate just came down. We're about, I think, 6.125, and you can buy down points to get under 6%.
Right.
There's an old saying, everyone goes, I wish I would have bought a house 10 years ago. Well, if you buy a house today, 10 years from now, you're going to be like, I'm glad I bought a house 10 years ago.
Was it better to buy the house today, or was it better to buy it during the pandemic?
Houses have actually went up during the pandemic. Just,
Right.
The thing is, if the houses are higher, interest rates are down. If interest rates are higher, houses are down. So right now, if interest rates are a little bit higher, obviously we had it historically low at 3%. We've never seen that before in 30
No.
years. Is that going to come back? Probably not.
Right.
6% is very, very good. And they always say, marry the house, date the rate. You can always refinance and get a lower rate if it goes
I
down.
used to be a junior loan officer,
Oh,
so
so you understand.
yes.
Yeah, you really know.
Yes.
You still have people saying the rates were high at 3.
Yeah, my own brother was like, the rate is very high. I'm like, it's at 3%.
Everybody, look, no matter what, everything is always high. We're just used to, we're in New York, everything is so expensive, so we just used to going, that water is too much money, this chips is too much money, the
Exactly.
milk is too much money, the
Everything's
eggs is too, so I get it, 100%.
How expensive is it to own a home versus renting?
Well, a lot of factors come in there because what are you paying for rent? I think the average 2-bedroom right now is about $2,500.
Yes.
But the big thing is how much you're going to put down on the house and how much is the house. All that is relative. The whole thing is you're going to pay a mortgage, whether it's your mortgage or someone else's.
Somebody else's. Mm-hmm.
But you can't pull out of somebody else's mortgage if you need the money, and you can't sell that asset.
No.
So
I tell people that all the time, like you'll end up paying that $2,500 a month, and it's like they go, oh well, mortgage is a lot, and I'm going, you paying the landlord's mortgage and plus some, depending. Let's say you got the whole house, now he wants 35. Now let's say he has his mortgage and his taxes rolled in together. Now you're taking care of the whole property for him completely. Then he turns around and says, it's your job to cut the grass. It's your job to do this.
Exactly.
You might as well own the home. And then to rent a home at one of those prices, you're paying the mortgage. Sometimes you're paying a broker's fee. So it's the first month's rent, first month's rent, security, and then a broker's fee. And when you
about $10,000.
down payment for a home.
Exactly.
So it's like,
You could do it.
it's like,
very doable. A lot of people don't realize they're afraid to take that first step.
The risk, yeah.
because everybody always says how expensive it is to live in New York or how expensive the homes are in New York. But a lot of people don't look at, like you said, Brentwood, Central Islip, Brentwood. I live in Brentwood right now. And living in Brentwood, my next door neighbor, he doesn't live in there by himself. He has the upstairs, he has tenants downstairs. It's income.
Right.
I don't own a house, I rent. This guy has a huge house with like 5 apartments in it. He makes $7,000 a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, it's basic common sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
How do you help buyers compete in the competitive market?
Oh, well, we're very aggressive. How do we help them compete? I mean, honestly, we tell them we guide them what offer would be the right offer. And we always reach out to the other agent. It's very, what's the word? You have to have good connections with other agents. If they've worked with you before, they're obviously going to let their client know, hey, I worked with this person before. You want to make sure they have a good pre-approval with a lender that people know and respect. Because if they know that a deal has died before with a certain lender, they're not going to want to accept that offer.
Yeah.
They're going to know it's going to go nowhere. It's just really communication with the other agent so they could relay the message to the owner that the person who wants to buy is a qualified buyer.
Have you ever been both? Buyer and seller agent?
I have, and I really don't like to be because it's hard to be an impartial party. They're both going to want stuff.
And it's hard
it's
to
tough.
accommodate, the both,
Exactly, yeah.
and please them both at the same time.
I'd rather people, if I'm on the selling side, you bring an agent, I'd rather them have their own agent. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was just like a random question because I know it happens sometimes. So when we was talking and it came up, I'm like, that makes sense. A lot of people.
Some agents love it, right? I'm not a big fan because
it
then
would-
you have both of them calling you left and right.
But
They wanna
I was
fight
going to
over
say,
everything.
financially it works out for the agent, but mentally it doesn't work out for the agent.
Right, but I think, we take it, we have ethics and stuff like that and morale that we have to cater to both and do the right thing.
No, that's why I said mentally it wouldn't work for the agent, but financially would, because they get paid from both. But you have to try to balance,
Make
a
everybody
good
happy.
rapport.
What if they want a certain amount of repairs and then they don't want to do repairs? Now,
Yeah.
normally, if I'm on one side of the deal, I'm like, we're not doing these repairs. You know what I mean? Now I'm on both. Now, hey, we have to do some repairs. It depends what side I'm on. Now, I have to, be flexible, and I don't want to be flexible if I don't have to be I want to make my client as happy as possible.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, we just had a deal not too long ago.
I had to get you in there too, because you too comfortable not saying much. We're gonna get you in here.
We just had a deal not too long ago. I can't even imagine being on both sides. The house needed to be very clean and stuff.
See,
like
you
that.
just closed on something too. The two of you, right?
Yeah.
I just see. I pay attention, very close attention. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you, yeah.
So much.
Yeah, you do a lot. You close on a lot. You close on like it's like I love her. No, I love her work. I really do. And every time you
you.
get something like that, I'm always, if it's okay with you, I just want to post it.
No, I appreciate the love,
You know.
and I know I put all my real estate stuff and I try to mix it up, not bore people to death with all the sales and offers accepted, and so I try to put other funny things on there as well. Because after a while, I'm sure they're like, all right.
Yeah, like the
another
things
deal.
you find in the home, right?
You
Like
know.
that. Those are like
Yeah,
that was something I was gonna ask too. Like, what are some of the crazy
We find
things that
crazy
you find
stuff,
in the home?
Bomb shelters.
Ooh,
I don't know why that was down there. Someone had a target downstairs. They were shooting bullets down there. I think more than what I find in the home, because a lot of these are foreclosure properties that you're going to see
Okay.
insane stuff. Hoarding situations, a telephone booth in the middle of the living room
Yeah.
from London. I don't know why that was there. They probably could have paid off their house if they would have just sold that.
yeah. I went and seen the house, and they had like 15 of the Bronx cast iron heaters. They were connected in every room in the house. And then this one specific room upstairs had like 20 of them lined up like he was selling them. And I'm like, what is he doing with all these cast iron things? And the real estate agent's like, you can sell those. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised what you find, but you know what it is? It's so tiring. I've had hoarding houses a lot. And it's like there probably is gold in here and money.
Right.
And the junk removal people are probably, they're probably in Guam somewhere right now. I have no idea where they are.
I was gonna
They're
say-
probably so happy when they come into these homes.
no, that I could imagine, really can imagine you
Like,
find
you
some.
can't even move when you come inside. It's been so bad.
I did my grandmother's house back in like 98 and found like a jar full of coins that she didn't even know was there. Yeah, so and she's like, I'll keep them, but
Should have went through them.
this was when I was like 14, 15, so I'm just
There's no
thinking,
internet there.
yeah,
You can figure out which penny was the one that's most
yeah, to be
expensive.
does that even really exist?
That exists. There is a certain penny from a certain year that's actually worth a lot of money.
Yeah, she's right.
I gotta Google it in case I do come across
It's
it.
an old one though. It's really
Okay, I've never known anybody that actually cashed in a coin and said they got.
Right, me neither.
Yeah, like never.
I don't know them personally. I've seen them online though.
I be thinking most of those people we see online are rigged. It's just like
Yeah, they're just trying to get a.
tell my friend to give me 5-star ratings. Rate me 5 stars, bro. Because my show is the best.
What are some benefits of first-time buyers?
Well, you have down payment assistance. You have also closing costs. They can assist you on that. You get a lower interest rate. Those are some of the things that first-time home buyers get. So a lot of them do take advantage of what's going on. They have to call, obviously, their loan officer because we don't handle that. But we do guide them in the right direction. We'll give them a few loan officers to contact. And, whoever gives them the best deal is who they're going to go with, who they're most comfortable with. We got hit with all those foreclosures. They were giving out, $1 million houses to people made $20,000 a year. How are you going to keep up with that mortgage?
Yeah.
Of course, a crash now. I mean, the amount of paperwork and stuff you have to show to prove you can pay it is crazy. And then you usually get somebody's parent that goes, when I bought a house, I didn't have to show anything. And I'm like, I know, but I don't want to say anything. But in 2008, we had a lot of houses in foreclosure and people getting evicted. So
and a lot of them houses is now the zombie houses still. So
they're the foreclosures that, don't have any water or heat. So a regular home
Sliders.
buyer can't even buy that house if they want to. It's not going to get approved. So you need an investor to actually buy it, to flip it, so a regular home buyer can buy
Could
it.
buy it and live
You know,
yeah.
you got no floors, so they get a little upset on their way out with the foreclosure, and they usually break the walls and
You got to
stuff.
sign a sheet just to be in there.
Yeah, you do.
The
You have
waiver,
to, you do.
yes.
You have to sign a hold harmless because you don't know what's going to fall down.
Yeah, no, I did one like that that was filled with like mold and things like that.
Oh, I'm used to the mold.
Yeah, and they was like, you got to go in there with your mask, sign the waiver, this, that, and the third. And I was like, whatever. But when I went in there, I seen how horrible it was. It was like, I get it.
Yeah.
They don't want to be liable. What happens if a home appraises under the listed price?
Well, what side am I on? Because if I'm
You're
on
on
the
my
selling
side. You're on the buying side.
if I'm on the buying side, it's a no. We're not going to come up with the difference. If the bank doesn't think it's worth that, then why should my client have to pay that? It wasn't priced correctly then. So that's when we reach out to the agent to let them know, hey, the bank said this. We're going to need you to come down in price. It's a rare situation. I probably have had it happen a couple times.
You make sure nobody appraises after, right? They appraise before.
What do you mean?
Like to get the appraisal before you So I've heard I've never been to the point of appraisal, but appraisal is that before you make the offer. Like, do you
No, you
appraise
can't
or you?
do that.
You
the
can't.
bank the bank sends the appraiser over there. So how it typically works is you see a house, you love it. If I'm lucky, it's the first house, but I'm probably not going to be lucky. So we'll be on the 20th house.
Right.
So
that's how long
we put the offer in.
Gotcha.
We're going to win the offer because it's us, and we usually win. And then we do an inspection. I always tell they don't have to do it. I advise my clients to do an inspection. There's always going to be something wrong with the house, even a new build. I don't care what anyone tells you, especially the new builds are usually not made of quality. I have to be honest.
Put up too fast.
They don't have the same requirements now on how they build houses. So we do the inspection. Minor things are going to be wrong. Outlets aren't going to work, simple things. We just want to make sure it's structurally sound, that you're not going to walk in and this house is going to fall apart.
Okay.
But if there's a little hole in the wall, that's going to happen. There's certain things. If, the house has to be free from leaks and the heating has to work.
Has to work.
These are things that are non-negotiable, not just for me, for the bank. After they start the loan process, you pay the appraiser, and I don't know how much it is, a certain amount of money, and then the appraiser comes in and he, writes down what he thinks the house is worth.
Right.
As agents and brokers, I'm a broker, we're pretty good at pricing a house. It's pretty rare that we don't price a house correctly. And if we're not pricing a house correctly, it's really never our fault. It's the client saying,
fault.
my house is worth this because I love it, And so, we have to listen to them. We work for them.
Right.
But the few times the appraisal comes in lower, I'm on the buy side. I ask them to come down, and they usually do come down. They talk to their client, hey, we've gotten this far. We got to come
Nice.
down.
Nice. So what about from the seller's point of view with that same question?
Well, naturally, if I'm on the selling side, my client wants X, Y, and Z, I need you to cover the difference, or at least meet me halfway. I'll come down a little bit, you come up with the cash a little bit, and let's get this deal going.
Okay, nice. So basically like the same thing, just in reverse.
You're right.
Okay, gotcha.
What's the lowest credit score needed to be able to purchase a home?
580.
580.
I've had this so many times.
What, that question?
No, I've had so many clients with 580. They're like, I don't think I can get a house. I was like, don't you worry about it. I've had 3 people with a 580 credit score buying a $700,000 house before.
Where you send them to?
Wherever they take us. So in this place, Lindenhurst, they bought a beautiful house. I'm gonna fight for my offer.
I don't know what else y'all can take from this, but that's not a high credit score at all. I was
You can't
gonna.
get a car
I'm
with that.
gonna be 100%. With my junior loan officer experience, I tell people 630.
No, 580. 580. We have experienced loan officers
I'm-
that make it happen.
I'm effing y'all over a little bit. I'm slowing your process, not effing you
She
over.
just gave
I'm
y'all
slowing
the
your
real
process.
580.
She's telling you right now you could possibly do it.
You could possibly do it. What do you make, And you don't have to make anything crazy. Get your family together. I can't tell you how many times the brother will come in and co-sign. You know, and a lot of families will come in and help you.
Okay. What about the ideal credit score? Like, what do you say the ideal credit
I mean,
score
of
is
course, the higher the better. You know, it
for
makes you a
the
stronger
interest rate?
candidate. You know, obviously, if my client has a lower credit score, I'm not going to tell the seller that. You know, I'm going to say they're a qualified buyer. They are. They have been qualified for this loan. They're pre-approved. You know, I don't have to give them that information. Of course, if they have a high credit score and my client is allowing us to say that, I'll go, oh, by the way, they have a 750 credit score.
Okay.
Wow. What's the ratio of buyers to sellers?
I would say we're somewhere around 60-40s. You know, we do more on the buy side.
More on the buy side, 60-40?
Yeah, a little more on the buy side.
Okay, that's not bad. So you do more buying than you do the selling.
Right.
Okay, and those buyers are like mostly investors or first-time homeowners. What do
So
you see more?
I see both. I see a lot. I see 50-50, you know, which of course I have people who also downsize a lot too, but I have mostly investors and I have also a lot of first time home buyers that make up most of the buyer section.
And that ratio to buyers and investors is like a 60-40, you would say as well, or 50-50, because you said it's
I
kind of
would
like
say
this.
about 50-50.
Okay. The sale list to price ratio, what does that mean for buyers and sellers?
What you're gonna list the house for and what it actually sells for. You know, if we put a house on the market for 600,000 and then we sell it for 620, that means we sold it over asking price. Or if unfortunately it sells under asking price, you know. Right now, the current market that we're in, you want to price it a bit underneath to induce a bidding war. You know, they see a lower price, they go, wow, I
Go
can't
for it.
believe this. Then they fall in love with the house, and then you have multiple offers to choose from. And that's how you start a bidding war.
You'll have like 80 people to the open
80
house.
people. I mean, we had 160 people come to our Ronkonkoma open house because it was for, you know, 500,000. Which
Nice.
is very low.
Yeah,
for
in that
school
region.
district,
Yeah, I was about to say in that
from that
region,
ranch.
that was a
Well, it was a mother and daughter too. So they were like, I could rent out part of this
That
house.
was
It's
it, yeah.
total gut, but I could rent out part of this house.
Do you have a personal marketing plan that you have with your clients when it comes time to sell?
Absolutely. So I have a bachelor's degree in business marketing and management. He also has a degree in business. We focus heavily on social media ads. You know, everybody's online, old, young.
Right.
So we're always putting out ads. That's a big thing. We also go door to door when we're selling a house because the neighbors usually know family members or other people want to live in the area. And we will also send out flyers and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
What's some ways that homeowners can prepare to sell the house? They want to sell it.
I mean, the biggest thing is actually decluttering your house. A lot of people have a lot of stuff in their house they need to get rid of. They could rearrange their furniture. The other way too is painting. It's so simple, but I actually sold a house for $100,000 more, and all we did was actually paint.
Paint the home.
It was crazy, but we just
What
painted
about
it.
the outside? Is it true like the lawn, a good lawn can help sell?
Yeah, I mean, I'm selling a house probably with not the greatest lawn right now, and a few people said it. I'm like, don't focus on that. Focus on the important part where you're sleeping.
Right.
You sleep outside in the backyard?
Exactly. It's true.
Do you have like contractors that you personally deal with that you recommend to some clients and stuff?
Yeah, we have a list of people that we've worked with and that we have personally used. We don't recommend anyone that we haven't used. So plumbers, you know, cleaning people, it's all people we've personally used. And I'll personally bring them to my house and try them out first. Because I've fired plenty of people. So we'll never recommend anybody unless they've actually done the work for us first.
You know, I asked that question because I watch Homes on Homes. That's like I'm HGTV freak. Don't mind me. And he goes in there and everybody's like, I just brought this house and it's just like the worst. He goes through it and he's like this and this and this. By the time he's done, you're like, this like $100,000 and repairs, and it's like, holy crap.
get
And
costly.
they tell you I went through 2 and 3 different contractors, and I always say to myself like, so when you buy the house, you don't ask the real estate agent, like, do you know anybody? Like, do most real estate agents come with people like that?
Yeah,
Like,
I think almost every realtor in the business, unless they're probably new, we all have a list of people that we prefer, that we've worked with, that we know, and we trust, because they trust us. So we have to be careful who we recommend.
And that's something, agents should really invest time into getting somebody they trust to, if that problem was to come up, they have somebody to call, to come and help with the situation.
okay. Is there any way that is there any realtors that you guys would connected with out of state, or you guys would recommend out of state
Yeah.
for buyers?
Yeah. So we get a lot of people from New York who like to move to Florida. So I do have a lot of realtors in Florida, all over the place. All over.
You said the right state for him.
Is that where you're going?
No, I'm not going there. I actually own land in Florida.
Oh, okay. Where about?
St. Augustine.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Great.
the oldest city in our country.
It's a fun fact I didn't even know.
Yes. So basically, I brought the property. It's like I think it's 14,000 square feet property. It's just woods and like some
It doesn't matter
marshlands or
what it
whatever. And I pay $125 a year
That's
on
amazing.
taxes. I had the property for 2 years, and the plot next to me was $16,000, but 4 years before I brought it, it was $4,000.
Wow.
And then the house across the street from me is the same size property, but he just built the house on it. Now that house is worth $375.
Wow. It's
So
amazing.
I look at it as a well put future investment for my
It's
children.
only going to go up. Everyone's moving to Florida.
So I asked that question personally for myself.
A lot of people, as you know, during the pandemic, moved down to Florida. A lot of people I know went down there. My father lives down there. So many people went down there, and real estate has gone up a lot, and it's going to continue to go up a lot in Florida too.
Right.
So I have a lot of connections there in Florida. I have connections too in, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, pretty much all over. Obviously, I don't know anyone in Alaska, but I guess if they want to go there, I'll find somebody.
And it's always good. Like, I'm glad that you said that, because I'm actually been looking for a realtor that actually has
I have a whole bunch
those
down
types
there.
of connections, because there's a lot of things that I'm about to start stepping into as well. So
Yeah.
this interview was kind of like pushed for a purpose.
Well, anything you need, you let me know.
How does your commission work?
What do you mean, like what I give my brokerage or what I charge clients?
Both.
So we're not actually legally allowed to talk about commission because that has to do with the National Realtors Association. But I will say, on average, realtors charge anywhere from 4 to 6%,
Nice.
and that's split between another agent. Because usually you're not on both sides of the deal, and if you are, you usually have made a deal with that client that you would take a little bit less.
Nice.
And then remember, we also have to pay our brokerage; they take a cut as well, and we have to pay taxes because we're 1099 self-employed. So when people are like, "Oh my gosh, you make so much out of every deal," remember, the pie gets smaller and smaller. It's not as
Everybody has to
crazy
get
as
their
everyone
piece.
thinks.
Is there a way to increase the selling price without doing major renovations to a property?
I would say definitely the painting. I mean, I had a client buy a house for $210, and then we decided, instead of making it bigger, let's try painting. I said, paint it gray. The white makes it look small. And then I threw it back on the market for $300 and sold it for $330.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure the same people came
Wow, so
to the
paint-
house 2 months prior.
Paint makes that much of a difference.
Did in this house,
To
and it was
where-
a 2-bedroom house.
Nice. Where it could help the presentation and actually help the sales. So.
And we painted the basement too, and it gave it a more finished look. But nobody wanted the house when it was white.
Is white one of those just turn away colors you
A
see?
lot of people think that white makes the place look better and bigger, but a lot of people are actually turned off by white, believe it or not. They like, right now everybody's into light gray. I don't know what we're going to be into in a
My
few
bedroom.
years. Back then we were into beige. I love gray. My whole house is full of gray, and every
My
investor
bedroom.
property, they're like, "What color do you want?" I'm like, "Gray." I do the same thing in every house.
I want
50
to.
Shades episode, me.
Oh, I love that movie too, but
What would be the beginning process for someone who wants to get into real estate as an investment?
well, naturally call me. So Just make sure you have all your finances in order. If they're looking to invest, a lot of times you do need cash to invest in a property. Not for personal home ownership, but to invest, because it's a very aggressive, and there's a lot of people with cash out there.
What is that ideal number of cash? Roughly, just guesstimate. It's good enough.
A lot of my clients probably look somewhere to spend around 500,000, and then they're gonna probably spend somewhere, maybe another anywhere from 50,000 to 70,000 in renovation costs, and that's all cash.
Okay, and you said for the people to reach out to you when they're ready to do that, and what is the best way for the people to reach out to you?
Well, you can visit me online, dreyfussteam.com. We call leads almost immediately. We're always available day and night. We don't shut off our phones like other people do at 5 o'clock. Like, you may work nights, right? You may need to call me at 11 o'clock. I'm going to answer the phone. He's going to answer the phone. We're going to be there for you. We're going to hold your hand.
That was another question I had, like, what is your hours availability? Because,
24/7.
some real estate agents is not, they like, man, after 9 o'clock, don't call me.
You can call me.
Time.
We're going to answer.
That's what makes you so great. Now, I have a question that, what are you laughing for?
I'm just curious.
I have a question that
think that's
me and you actually started
Okay.
in an inbox. And I said, we stopped, and then I said, I'll save the rest of it for the interview, which was basically I had asked you about a video I seen online where Trump was burying someone in his golf land, and they were giving him a tax exempt and all of this other stuff. Like they said, because you become tax exempt, they can't take the property from you. And I'm like, how true is this?
Yeah, is this true?
Of course.
So you can be tax exempt, because I'm working on a cemetery deal right now, but it has to be for religious purposes, or you have to be a nonprofit organization. He doesn't have either of those two. I did look into what he has. He actually does have, he was approved by the board for a cemetery on his golf course in New Jersey, but they haven't built the cemetery yet. I mean, look, if you're in power and you want to put a cemetery in, I don't care who you are. If you're in power, you're getting that cemetery.
Yeah.
Because that's what matters. Realistically, it's pretty hard to put a cemetery in because you need special permitted use. And then you need the board to approve you.
Right.
And there's a lot of legalities that you have to go through to get a cemetery going. But if he wants to start burying people, they're going to let him do it.
I was going to say, I asked.
He hasn't done it yet. They're fighting against it. But
I was going to say, they said, see, that's the craziest thing, because the video says he buried one of his ex-wives there, something like that. So it's like, what?
The thing is, he's not going to get the tax write-off. I don't know why, the context I saw was that he wanted to build a mausoleum for his family and have them all together. Some people view death a certain way where they want everyone together.
Right.
It depends, what your views are. For my clients, getting a cemetery, for them, it's a religious thing. They have to be buried. They cannot be cremated. And there's no more space here in Long Island for their religion. So, and they don't want to keep going to New Jersey. That's why they need another cemetery here in Long Island.
I have another question for you. Before I call an agent, right, or a broker to view a home, is it smart for me to go try to find a home that I think is nice before calling a broker? Or let's say you even have a broker. Is it wise for them to just drive around and find houses, or should they wait for their broker to actually find the homes?
Let your broker help you.
Yeah. But for the most part, they haven't. Most of the buyers are interested in a home, and then they'll say, "I like this home." And then
Or if they got like that MLB app or something like that.
yeah, they'll go on a website. They'll say, "We like this home," and then we just start working. And
No Zillow. No Zillow.
No Zillow.
Yeah, she was just us.
I don't use them to look up houses. We have our own system. I don't know why a lot of people think I'm on there playing around on Zillow. That's the big thing. They're like, I could do it too. I go on Zillow. I'm like, that's not what we do.
It's not it's definitely not the same thing.
I see a doctor perform surgery. Just because I see it doesn't mean I can perform it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ins and outs. But, I'd prefer a client come to me if they want to see a house, because I'm going to know other houses that are like that. So I could show you more than one. What if there's something better for a better price that you don't even know about? Oh, the MLS,
The
yeah.
MLS. Yeah, I said
I was like, the
MLB, but
MLB. I
yeah,
was
I'm like MLS, ML
I
something
thought maybe
like
it was a
that. Yeah.
gambling site. I was like, I don't think I'm signed up for that one, but
Yeah, no, it's yeah, MLS is what he had sent me and was
yeah.
like, look through here and find your places here.
The houses are worth too, like the for sale sign, people come by and they're like, oh, well, how much is it? That's why it's almost easier that we know your price range and we know what to send you. But if you send us a house and you're like, I'm looking for something new or I'm looking to do the work myself, then I have an idea of what you want. I could send you something similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah, and some have conditions too, like in the fine print, the descriptions and stuff.
What on the
Yeah. Some can be like foreclosures, and some can be short sales, and
but on
they
the
think it's like a regular.
but on the MLS app they'll tell you
So
all of
yeah,
those
we'll be
different
able to
things.
see it. A lot of times we'll get a call like, I just sold this house for 100,000. And we'll get the same call over and over again. I'm like, it's tenant occupied. And one guy was like, well, will they move out? No, that's why it's 100,000 because they're not going to leave. So
Yeah,
we
you
need
gotta have
get
to
rid of
pay them. You gotta pay them. You
They
gotta
don't-
get them out of
sometimes
there.
money's not even enough to get them out.
Seriously?
I swear to
You know what? I just watched Channel 12 News the other day and seeing the people that lived in like, I think it wasn't like Ronkonkoma or something, and they went on a vacation out of the country. Their neighbor was looking after the house. They came back
I heard
home
about that
and
story.
they had the squatters living in the house, and they had to really go to court to try to get these people out
It's
of
a
the
very
house.
long
And it was like
process.
they were living in a hotel and
Yeah, he was renting out
everything.
he was
Yeah,
renting out the house.
the neighbors
Nothing you
rented
can
the
do.
house out, and it's like that's
If someone just breaks open your window, they could live there, and there's nothing you can really do. You have to take them to court, and it could go up to a year actually, and cost you a fortune. So when I get investment properties, I will actually nail the windows shut. I'll worry about it later, because if they get in, I know I'm not getting them out. You know. And a lot of times these investors won't live nearby, and they're counting on you to check on the house. So, I mean, am I going to sleep there? No, because unless there's going to be a king-size bed there for me to relax and watch TV, I'm not going to be there personally. But, I'm going to put cameras up, and I'm going to nail the windows shut. I'm going to put, wood in between the doors, and I'm going to make sure they're not getting in.
Yeah. Okay. That makes it makes great sense to protect your assets, because other than that, you just wouldn't have a home to sell. Someone just doesn't have one to buy, and then someone gets to
Nothing
live for
you
free.
can do, and sometimes even if you offer them money, a lot of times they won't take it because they're like, I'm living here for free. If I take your 5,000, that's not enough to get me really
How
anywhere.
often do you see
A
that?
lot of people saying it's 10,000.
Oh, well, we just had a house where squatters didn't want to leave, but I was able to, convince them to leave. It was a lot, but I actually got them out, and my client didn't have to pay. He really didn't have the money, in fairness. He moved out. He left it to his brother to watch it, and the brother let the squatters in. And they've actually never paid rent, and they totally destroyed the house. Holes in the wall. There was actually no knobs for any of the sinks or the showers. I don't even know how they showered. I got to be honest with you. They had a pair of pliers out. I guess they were.
Wow.
It was the craziest thing we ever seen, and I felt so bad for him. But we came in there nice and level-headed, and we just befriended her. And a couple nights at the hotel, and we got her out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Y'all made her feel comfortable.
Yeah. I had a babysitter cat, too, for a couple weeks, but
Yeah? Oh, because the hotel wouldn't take it?
she was like, oh, we're going to get kicked out. I'm like, all right, the cat will stay with me.
Just don't go back to the house.
Pretty much, yeah.
From a realtor to a cat sitter.
Cat was living with me.
Wow.
What you got to do?
No, that's a fact. That's a whole fact. Well, everybody, it's been a pleasure sitting down with you guys and giving y'all this great jewel.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And if you have any more questions, like they said, all you have to do is reach out to,
DreyfusTeam.com.
and they will get at you immediately. They answer emails, calls, all of that immediately. They're good 24 hours. No, not 24, but to about 11 o'clock. Don't get too drastic.
Don't call it 5.
But thank you for sitting down with us and enjoying our time. We greatly appreciate you guys for sitting down and viewing. Hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. This is Likely Inspired, the podcast. We are more than just rap. We are more than just the streets. We are the culture. We are the community. We are for the people. This is Hugo Finesse signing off. You guys have a great one.